Hi, welcome back to Project Eden's Garden. I'm Omelette. We haven't finished editing the previous video yet, but I want to get this trial done as soon as possible so that we don't get spoiled before we actually see the outcome. Because I really want to see who did it. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. This is my first video on the channel.
Let's get this started, shall we? Welcome back to the trial grounds, everyone.
Tozu!
Unlike previously, today will be no circus. No mockery woven with stitches and needles.
It may be a different person at the front, but we're always dropping the microphone.
A true, fair, and proper trial will commence. A battle of wits between the blackened and the spotless. I doubt I have to explain the rules to you again. But even so, you must vote for who you believe is the blackened.
I really deepen my voice for this line.
If the blackened receives the majority of votes, only they will be punished, and the rest of you will resume your killing experience. However, if you vote for the wrong person, then expect no sympathy from your hosts. All spotless students will meet a tragic end, or the blackened will be granted release from this academy.
He deepened his voice, that's how you know he's serious.
Happy discussing! We pray for your survival and success.
Now he's chipper as a chipper.
Can someone please break this silence?
I don't want to talk about this.
Wolfgang deserves justice. But putting everyone's lives on the line like this is just cruel.
Oh, crap. Without a lawyer, we're totally screwed.
Who's gonna defend me for my arson?
Whenever I turn my head, I keep expecting to see him at his podium.
Oh, don't cry, Toshiko. He's in a better place now, you hear?
I'm in a way better place because this place is just hot garbage, you know? I mean, it's just downright terrible.
Did this. Whatever it takes. No matter if I have to kick the brains out of every single person here, I'll find you.
Do you really gotta resort to violence?
Let's just stay calm, okay? Making peace with our situation is, the first step in handling it.
Diana is so desperate to stay calm.
How the hell can I stay calm when there's a killer on the loose? That bastard is watching us right now, fully content putting our lives on the line. Is that what you call peace? Being at the mercy of some dickhead silent observer?
Well,
Now that I've spoken up, I guess I'm not a silent observer, right? So you're cool with the fact that I killed him? What?
nobody knows for sure if the killer is even a silent observer. If anything, the killer might try to feign innocence through other means. For instance, pretending to be outspoken about the case.
Ooh. Huh?
What the? Are you accusing me of something?
I mean, what you did during the investigation seems really suspicious.
What did Grace do?
She stood in front of Wolfgang's dorm room and wouldn't let anyone go inside. Intentionally or not. It really hindered our investigation.
Because of Grace, almost everyone who planned to investigate Wolfgang's dorm gave up and went elsewhere. It was only after some of us started protesting that she finally relented.
Desmond, be careful. You're within punching distance.
You know, for someone who seems so adamant about finding Wolfgang's killer, it's odd she tried to conceal potential evidence.
I was only trying to hide the fact that I had sex with him.
I'm not saying Grace is definitely the killer. I just think we should be cautious of her.
She has an alibi, though.
Huh?
Grace couldn't have murdered anyone. Because she went to the game tournament.
Grace attended the tournament?
Does that rule her out from committing the murder?
Well, yeah. We had to be at the dining hall by 9 a.m.-ish. Which was like half an hour before the murder.
Or was it?
Nobody left the tournament after it started either. Nobody I know of, and...
Where is it? Where is it? Here. Yeah, 8:15 is the potential time it started. But he didn't die until 9.
There weren't many of us there. Had someone disappeared, it would have been obvious.
So, Grace is off the hook? Wow. That plot thread resolved itself quicker than I was anticipating.
So Jean, Grace, and Kai attended Cassidy and Jet's game tournament.
And me.
And Mark.
Damon and I also attended the tournament. We can also vouch for Grace.
You guys aren't lying, are you?
Ooh. Lying? About Grace?
What the heck? Are you seriously doubting 8 testimonies?
If the 8 of you were really together when Wolfgang was discovered, then Kai, doesn't that contradict what you said before the investigation? You told everyone you and Damon found Wolfgang first. How is that possible if you guys never left the dining hall?
We gotta explain the situation, happened here. Damon and me, we just found him like this. I'm scared and I'm gay.
I never said I didn't leave the dining hall.
But earlier you told us you were with the other attendees.
That's because us partygoers left the dining hall together.
When the blackout struck, the tournament folk joined arms and headed straight downstairs. I would know. I saw him.
There was a blackout?
You don't remember?
Actually, I don't recall a power outage either.
How could that be? Did an alternate timeline converge with ours?
Why is it that some people can recall a blackout but not others? Thinking back on the testimonies I've collected, I can probably make an educated guess. You don't need to make an educated guess, we already know the answer. The only one building blacked out.
I got it.
I got it. I finally figured out the answer after all this deduction. After all this thinking. I solved the mystery, guys.
If I had to guess, the courtyard and tree area are connected to separate power sources.
So the tournament attendees were affected, yet they left the dining hall? Why not stay put until the power returned?
Because we were the ones who brought it back. It didn't seem like the power was being restored anytime soon, so we took up the challenge of fixing it ourselves. And
Ourselves?
boom! We found a spare generator lying in one of the storage closets. Of course, then we found Wolfgang.
She's right. The 8 of us split into 4 pairs and inspected a storage room each.
Because of the toaster trinket map, we know which ones, too. Eva and Grace checked storage closet A. Jet and I checked storage closet B. Damon and Kai checked storage closet C. And Jean and Mark checked storage closet D.
You went blind for a second.
Yeah, I was with Grace. She can confirm being with me, too.
I hate being cleared of suspicion. This is so annoying.
Yeah, we were together.
Oh, I didn't realize. I'm so sorry for what I said earlier.
Sorry? You're sorry for accusing me of murder. Sorry doesn't cut it, you conniving two-faced bitch! If you really want
Shut
my
up.
mercy,
Stop
then
taking it
get on your
personally.
knees and
Stop
beg
taking it
for
personally, Grace. Stop taking it personally. Oh my god, you're such a bitch.
I'm cool, dude.
Hang on. Even if you aren't involved in Wolfgang's murder, you must know something about his last known whereabouts.
What makes you think she'd be privy to that?
You see, there's proof Grace spent last night with Wolfgang.
Grace and Lawyer Man? Talk about an unexpected pairing.
It's a completely expected pairing.
When I investigated Wolfgang's room, I saw a bunch of golfing equipment inside. Also, there was a blue woman's jacket tossed over the mantle of Wolfgang's bed.
Ugh. He's right. I also saw the equipment and the clothes.
The clothes are understandable, maybe. But why was golfing equipment in the room?
It's not like we even have enough room to even do mini golf.
Yo, little history dude. Wolfgang must have spilt the beans with you, right?
Why would Ulysses know anything?
Common courtesy. If you're gonna have a one-night stand, you gotta let your roomie know in advance.
Common courtesy also says you should watch your mouth around children.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm getting this right, Ulysses is bunking with Wolfgang?
Well, we only shared a dorm for one night.
You aren't bunking with him anymore?
Well, no, because he's dead.
Let me provide some context. As you may remember, after Desmond suggested everyone bunk together, the male students were directed to the dining hall. Once there, we played rock, paper, scissors to determine who would partner with who. Jet partnered with Mark, Desmond with Jean, Damon with Kai, and I with Wolfgang. Those were the pairings at the time. However, the following day, Grace and I agreed to swap rooms.
Yeah? Why'd you do that?
They agreed to swap rooms.
For reasons.
Totally not suspicious.
It was a win-win situation. I get Grace out of my hair. She gets me out of hers.
You two were originally bunking together?
The pairings were decided via a game of tic-tac-toe. I wasn't big on my partner being chosen for me, so when the opportunity arose to change that, I took it.
How did you decide it with tic-tac-toe? Isn't it like a draw every time?
Thus, I became Winona's roommate, and Grace became Wolfgang's.
Can confirm. I watched the whole thing play out.
Since the room swap happened the night after we implemented the bunk buddy system, that would mean Grace and Wolfgang have been bunking for about a day and a half.
Hello, Bella. Hello.
Gross.
What's gross? I'm bunking for a day and a half. Why are you thinking about sex? Are you dirty-minded?
In that case, Desmond was right about those two being together last night. Grace, did Wolfgang act strange at any point? Like, maybe he said something that stuck out to you, or, oh, maybe had trouble getting to sleep.
No. Nothing weird happened last night. Nothing happened last night, but... The morning of the murder, this morning, Wolfgang told me he felt sick.
Sick?
With a stomachache. It hurt so bad he couldn't get out of bed. I was gonna cancel my plans for today, but he convinced me to attend the tournament. So, I left his room right after the morning announcement. And yes, I'm talking about the game tournament. The same one Wolfgang acted all hesitant about attending. Newsflash, I changed his mind after breakfast yesterday.
Hold on a sec. That ain't what you told me this morning.
What did Grace tell you?
Simply put, she felt like competing. Grace knew I planned to compete as well, so she asked me to be her sparring partner, since you needed one to enter the tournament.
She withheld information.
Aye, that she did.
She withheld information, like a caddy withholds the golf clubs.
Of course, since I now know Wolfgang's condition at the time, I can't say I blame her. If someone you cared for was in a vulnerable position, would you go around and admit that in a killing game? No. You would try to protect that person by saying nothing at all.
When you put it that way, man, sounds rough.
I think it's obtuse.
Huh?
Say we assume the best of Grace. She withheld information not to trick anyone, but to protect someone she cares about. What then should we make up the glaring contradiction in her testimony?
What the hell do you mean, contradiction?
If your bunking partner was too ill to make the short trek to the dining hall, how did he walk all the way to the boiler room?
Good point.
Mm.
If Wolfgang really were bedridden, he would have stayed in his room.
Now that you mention it, to reach the underground floor, wouldn't Wolfgang need to descend, like, 4 flights of stairs?
That's not wheelchair accessible.
It's nothing for a healthy person, but for a guy who's supposedly really sick...
It's not my fault it doesn't make sense. It's just what Wolfgang told me.
Yeah. Didn't we decide Grace wasn't the killer anyway?
That's not to say she doesn't know more than she's letting on.
I'm not withholding anything else. Leave me alone.
Is there more to the story than Grace is telling us? Too many people are letting their emotions cloud their judgment. I need to solve this mystery and set things straight. Non-stop debate.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
There we go.
I've got nothing else to explain. The last I saw Wolfgang, he was
Okay,
in our
it's
dorm
that
room.
one. That's the button.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
No!
We would have found those by now.
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or Wolfgang never... Yes, he was sick.
Maybe Grace...
How? If anything, telling you the truth is putting my ass on the line.
There, she wouldn't benefit from lying about this. I didn't
Why
mean
don't
to
you
actually
tell
press
everyone
that.
the truth, Grace?
Why is my health so low?
Secret hallways.
Yeah, I didn't mean to
That, or
press that
Wolfgang
one. I
never
just
told
didn't
Grace
read
he
it
was sick.
properly.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
Wait, what am I supposed to do?
I've got nothing else to explain.
Is there something I haven't been
the
paying
last
attention
I
to?
saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallways.
We would have...
That, or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about...
All these weak spots suck.
You're not helping.
What?
Why don't you tell everyone the truth, Grace?
I've got nothing else to explain.
Cool. Well, what the game tournament timeline? Okay, that's not relevant. Toshiko's... Okay, she encountered Wolfgang in the hallway. So it has to be this
The
one.
last I saw Wolfgang, he was in our dorm room.
Okay, hear me out. Secret hallway.
Is this one we have to put?
We would have found those
Why
by
did
now.
it just not work?
Maybe Wolfgang was carried by the killer.
That, or
Oh.
Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
I wouldn't lie about what he said.
I shoot you.
What if Wolfgang used the elevator in the tree?
You're not helping.
Oh my god. Do I have to contradict Cassidy
Why don't
at the end there? Is that what I have to do? This is my favorite bit. We would have found those by now.
That's or Wolfgang never told Grace he was sick.
You're not helping.
Don't interrupt me! My spidey senses tell me that Wolfgang definitely has some sort of connection with that elevator.
What the hell am I supposed to do? I shouldn't be giving her
Why don't you tell
attention.
everyone
Cassidy's right. There's probably a secret passageway between Wolfgang's dorm and the boiler room.
You can't just make up secret passageways without evidence.
Yes, that's one of the cardinal rules of mysteries.
Touche.
Why don't
Oh my god. I have to use this on something, but all these weak spots suck.
We would have found those by now. Maybe Wolfgang was killed by the killer.
Oh, I had to do this.
No, that's wrong.
Sorry, I am dumb.
It's true Grace's testimony is inconsistent with where we found Wolfgang's body. But that's not Grace's fault. The only person we should be blaming is Wolfgang himself.
What the heck? Why are you blaming him?
Simple. Because he lied about being sick.
Seriously?
You can cooperate. Can't you, Toshiko? During the investigation, you told me you saw Wolfgang in the hallways at 8:10 a.m.
That's after I left.
Yes. I remember now.
Grace has some kind of hybrid accent between this British Australian one and this American one.
Ingrid. She developed a headache, so I went
Probably
to the
from
pharmacy
living
to
in
buy
the
some
States.
medication.
So long.
The trip itself went fine, but when I returned to the hallway, I found myself face to face
with Wolfgang? Hold the phone! Toshiko actually saw Wolfgang?
We had a normal, pleasant exchange. He appeared perfectly healthy and even mentioned going to the tournament. Of course, he never made it.
I don't want to be that guy, but can anyone confirm this?
Mm-hmm. I heard them chatting a while in my room. Though I was bedridden like a sitting ghost, I could still make out their voices here and there.
Strange. He told Grace he wouldn't attend the tournament, but then said the opposite to Toshiko.
Sounds like he was telling fibs to conceal his actual intentions.
And what's his true plan supposed to be?
To go to the boiler room. Most likely.
I'm lost. What business would a guy like him have down there?
Why did Wolfgang go to the boiler room? That I can also answer. Everyone, I'd like you to look at this barely readable piece of paper. This will answer everything. Huh? But we can't read it!
During the investigation, I found this note tucked away inside Wolfgang's blazer pocket. A lot of it is water damaged. The paper looks like it was ripped from a notebook, and the handwriting was done in ink. But some parts are still legible.
Secret. 8:15 a.m. Boiler room. Close the door.
This mentions the boiler room.
Exactly. The fact we found Wolfgang in the boiler room, and this note in his pocket, it can't be a coincidence. This note must be the reason Wolfgang went there.
That mention of a secret sure is suspicious. I'm willing to bet Wolfie's reason had something to do with it.
What was the secret, guys? Was it a secret Santa?
Place? Wolfgang had nerves of steel.
He must have had nerves of steel to do a secret Santa exchange in a dark boiler room.
Ulysses, Grace, do you remember Wolfgang getting delivered a weird note?
No. The only time I recall him receiving anything was when Tozu distributed those envelopes.
I don't know anything about a note.
Really? Wolfgang shared nothing with you guys?
Guess he didn't want them to know what it said.
Right. And if Wolfgang wanted to keep this note a secret, he would obviously want to keep the meeting a secret too.
Then the reason he told Grace he felt sick
was to remove her from the picture. Yeah. Once she's not in the room, Wolfgang has his opportunity to sneak out and head downstairs. That's also why he encouraged her to attend the tournament.
Oh!
Didn't this same guy ask us to share our blackmail with each other? Talk about double standards.
Are we sure he wasn't just trying to protect Grace? Maybe he knew he was meeting someone dangerous, so he thought it would be safer not to involve her.
That does sound like something Wolfgang would do.
Not to interrupt, but on the subject of blackmail, did Wolfgang ever confront the person he had?
Oh? You don't know whose blackmail he got?
Well, if you recall what Wolfgang said originally.
For that reason, I implore you all to speak with the person whose blackmail you have, and them only. Even if the contents of the envelope seem horrible, give the person a chance to explain themselves.
Regardless of the blackmail's contents, it would be treated as a matter between the recipient and the subject of the blackmail, and no one else. Which makes me wonder, could whether or not Wolfgang confronted his person clue us into what had originally been written on that note?
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
If that person somehow realized Wolfgang carried their blackmail, but never came forward about it, they could have demanded Wolfgang show it to them, hence the mention of a secret. However, if Wolfgang did confront his person, I don't see why that same person would then send him a threatening note. Not least act coy about information they both know.
If the person being blackmailed wasn't the one who wrote the note, who was?
Obviously, it would be the student with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, I knew that.
Yes, the secret in question may actually be a reference to Wolfgang's blackmail, not the sender's.
Is there any way to figure out whose secret it is?
We'd probably need to know whose blackmail Wolfgang had first.
Oh, I've got just the idea.
I've got an idea.
Yo, person who Wolfgang had blackmail on. If he gave you your blackmail back, can you say something?
Don't forget the person with Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh, right. Hey, person who's got Wolfgang's blackmail. If you're innocent, say something already.
If I'm innocent, I should say something. Would telling everyone I have Wolfgang's blackmail really guarantee my innocence in their eyes? I don't know. Although everyone may follow my direction during the trial, since they can't ignore the evidence on my side. When it comes to me, of all people, owning Wolfgang's blackmail, how do I know they won't suddenly change their tune? They might chastise me for not revealing his blackmail sooner, or maybe they'll think I'm confessing and accuse me of murdering him. It's not like I wouldn't be able to refute their arguments, but do I really want to subject myself to all that? Or does the trajectory of this trial really depend on whether or not
I was hesitant to admit it, since I knew it would put me on the spot. But I'd rather be suspected than be the reason this trial comes to a standstill.
Huh?
Are you confessing? Do you have Wolfgang's blackmail?
Nah, not his.
Seriously? Way to be anticlimactic.
Womp womp.
However, it's thanks to him that I have my own.
Your own?
Wolfgang approached me the same day everyone received an envelope. Funnily enough, it happened right after I'd finished speaking with my own person. He and we had a good talk. He gave me his envelope and asked me to take care of it, if you need the proof.
Ah, Wolfgang's envelope had the same signature.
Aye. I held on to the letter for safekeeping. This should have all been said sooner. I realized that. I suppose my pride was stronger than my rectitude. My mistake for stringing everyone along.
I mean, at least you're honest.
Truth. Thanks for letting us know, bud.
Indeed. To acknowledge one's own misdoings is a most virtuous feat, I believe.
She's so professional.
Right. It's very noble.
If I revealed my blackmail right now, would everyone here treat me the same? Would they be just as forgiving?
I take it our other blackmail person isn't gonna step forward?
If nothing happens, let's just have
What's
everyone
wrong,
recite
Bella?
whose blackmail they got
What's
one by
wrong?
one.
Hey. Oh, you don't want to be stuck in here.
Huh? You sure that's a good idea?
No one's reciting shit.
It was only a suggestion. Calm your farm.
Calm your farm. Calm your cows.
Even if we knew
And
who
your
had
pigs
Wolfgang's
and your
blackmail,
sheep and your
that doesn't necessarily mean they're
chickens.
his killer. It's annoying they won't speak up, sure, but unlike John, they would actually need to reveal Wolfgang's blackmail to prove they have it. This person might just want to respect Wolfgang's request to keep the blackmail between two people, especially now that he's gone.
I don't know. Is it really okay if we never find out?
Circumstantial evidence alone can't prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. If we want to solve this case, we need indisputable evidence.
Yeah. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle without the box art to help you.
The cases? Or...
Obviously, the case. The more pieces you connect, the clearer the image you're constructing becomes. The clearer the image, the more you can assume about it.
This means nothing. What is this?
Once we know how Wolfgang died, the rest of this case should fall into place.
Okay, now I kind of get it, but that's still a weird allegory.
You certainly talk a lot stranger than you used to, but I think I get it.
Well, I don't want to be the one to start, but we can all agree Wolfgang was stabbed to death, right?
Stabbed to death?
When I was in the boiler room, I saw a knife bobbing around in the water near him. And on the ground, there was blood. Dried blood. On the boiler room floor and on the hallway floor.
That's gotta be Wolfgang's blood, right?
The knife was bloody, so...
Seems like a brawl happened in the hallway. While poor Wolfie was minding his own business, he was confronted by the killer, who attacked him and chased him into the boiler room.
That would line up with how we found him.
The killer stabbed Wolfgang in the hallway, then followed him into the boiler room? No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. I need to show these idiotic fucks where they've gone wrong.
Is this really how you guys think Wolfgang died?
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along the underground hallway.
A confrontation must have happened in those hallways.
I agree.
Yeah, it was probably a sneak attack. The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind.
That does not dispute the possibility of a confrontation.
That's not I did not contradict you, Toshiko. I don't want to argue with you. I'm trying to argue with Jeff. What the frick? Why is it making me shoot the wrong one?
It was floating in the water right next to him.
What?
Not just that.
A confrontation must have happened in
See,
those
this is
hallways.
is this what the game thought I was trying to attack?
The killer snuck up on Wolfgang, stabbed him from behind, and the rest is history.
With that knife-wielding villain on his tail, Wolfgang had no other place to run but the boiler room.
So, the killer entered the boiler room after him, which was when they, you know, ended it.
It all makes sense.
He wasn't stabbed. Whatever story they're trying to spin here, it's definitely not the truth. I can conclude as much from the crime scene.
Is this really how...
Now, is it actually gonna shoot the correct phrase this time?
Always.
Yeah, that one's fine. A confrontation definitely happened.
Snuck up on Wolfgang.
What do you mean that didn't hit?
That does not dispute the possibility of a confrontation.
We know that's Do I actually need to hit Toshiko's? Are they swapped? Oh no.
Always.
What?
Is this really how you...
The bloody knife is way too big of a coincidence. It was floating in the water right next to him.
Not just that. There's blood on the boiler room floor and along...
What happened in those hallways?
Oh my god. Game over. Continue. Hey, now we have full health.
Is this really how you...
It was floating in the water right next to him.
It was probably sneak attack.
Stabbed him from...
I had to use the Tozu tablet, even though it never said anything about the cause of death.
Jet, you talk a lot about the knife and the bloodstains on the floor, but did you ever look at Wolfgang himself?
I gave him a glance. Nothing too deep.
I figured. Had you actually taken the time to look at Wolfgang's back, you would have noticed a clear absence of stab wounds.
Which has everything to do with the Tozu tablet I'm using to contradict you, and yet I'm not mentioning it.
In fact, none of the injuries he sustained were the type to cause severe blood loss. Seriously. We went over the same thing with Cassidy during the mock trial. Couldn't you give Wolfgang the dignity of a proper investigation?
Oh!
Hey, man, it's not like I didn't try. It's just... this stuff doesn't come easy, you know? Nobody wakes up thinking they'll have to solve their buddy's murder later.
Isn't that exactly what you should be worrying about in a killing game?
Not everyone has the stomach for investigating. That's fine. That's why you got people like me to do the heavy lifting. Since some of us here weren't able to investigate Wolfgang's body, I'll lay out his injuries. There were 2 marks on the back of his neck, a bruise, and a tiny red dot. His hands were burnt too, so 3 injuries in total. Besides that, I caught nothing else.
Burns, you say?
Junior high, my dear Wilson. The killer used a flamethrower.
These didn't look like normal burns. Not the sort you'd get from a stove fire, or a hot iron, or a flamethrower, I suppose.
Contradicting my theory outright? Jeez. So this is the thanks I get for vocalizing my thoughts?
Shut up!
Sorry, lass.
Shut up!
Yes, if I may add on to what John said, the burns actually bore a strong resemblance to what you might see in cases of coronal paralysis.
Coronal paralysis.
Chiaro... Huh?
Ooh, now this I know. Coronal paralysis. It's something which happens to lightning strike victims. Getting struck by lightning is like getting kicked by a horse. The impact is so shocking. Some people will lose all feeling in their limbs for a few hours.
I was aware of lightning paralysis, but even I didn't know its official name. That's a nice head you've got on your shoulders.
Lots of people tend to overlook the importance of lightning safety, especially where I'm from. My grandpappy once tried working out in the open during a thunderstorm. Pure luck's the only reason he lived to see the next day.
He happened to have a magic umbrella above his head that saved him from the lightning.
Sorry to hear that and all, but what does lightning have to do with anything?
Well, if I had to guess, Ulysses, did it look like a big old tree was drawn on Wolfie?
A big old tree. Yes, that's how I would describe the burns on Wolfgang.
So Wolfgang had lightning strike scars?
Huh? We're trapped inside a building, though. Lightning can't come from anywhere.
Could he not have been struck before the killing game? Fate is stronger than will, you know. Perhaps
We
the
never
deity
saw-
decreed the glow of his altruism from their heavenly abode and
We've
dealt him
never
a threat.
seen the burns on him before.
Those burns were fresh. One look was all it took for me to know that.
He didn't wear gloves, did he?
If he had these scars before,
I don't remember him
we
wearing
would've noticed
gloves.
them anyway.
But if those marks were recently inflicted, wouldn't it mean Wolfgang somehow went outside?
Eloise looks like she's wearing gloves, but no, she's just really, really, really white.
Not necessarily. This
Her
is only
hands are nearly the
something I
same
thought
color
of
as her
just now,
clothes.
but the reason Wolfgang sustained burns similar to that of lightning strike victims may be because whatever inflicted his burns was equivalent in damage to a lightning strike.
You saying there's something out here channeling the power of lightning?
Something equivalent in damage to a lightning strike. Of course. Everyone, take a look at this hammer we found lying next to Wolfgang. You may notice it's extremely heavy. No one could lift it. I assert that this hammer is the one and only Mjolnir. The hammer wielded by the god of thunder, Thor Odinson. What? The idea sounded ridiculous, but when I think back on the boiler room and what was inside it... Right, if I take that object into consideration, Ulysses' theory starts to hold some weight. Mjolnir. I don't want to say no, I want to say yes.
This is it.
This is it. Excuse me.
Since you write everything down, do you have a description of the boiler room in your notebook?
Yes, I do. Why?
Since some people here never investigated the crime scene, they probably aren't as familiar with the room as we are. So, you should read out your description of it.
Sure. The boiler room consists of a small concrete platform surrounded by ankle-deep water. Throughout the room are boxes filled with various garbage, and in the back looks to be a generator, charred beyond belief. What you just heard is a brief summary of my notes.
Hear that? There's a generator inside the boiler room. Of all the things which could deal similar damage to a lightning strike, doesn't a generator sound the most likely?
Didn't Ulysses say it was destroyed?
At the time of the investigation, sure. But it wasn't always destroyed. You probably don't remember. But back when we found the dummy, I mentioned something about the underground floor.
I'm the dining hall people. You were in this building before. Tell us what's going on. Yeah, why didn't you mention this other girl? The hell? I never even saw her. Huh? You were there too, Bargain Bin? Don't even. There's a floor below us. That's where I woke up.
To be more specific, it was the boiler room I woke up inside. I hadn't been alone either. Ava was also there.
I woke up first.
Bella! Hello! Hello, Bella!
Yeah.
Hello!
She did. Anyway, Ava, you agree the generator was in full working condition when we woke up, right?
Bella.
Right. So in the time since you woke up there, the generator was destroyed?
It's the only possibility. As for what destroyed the generator, well, it's hard to say for sure. My best guess would probably be...
Don't waste my time.
Oh no! We've been attacked!
Two things. First, destroyed is overly vague. Ulysses explained the state of the generator much better. Charred beyond belief. Second, and more importantly, where's your proof the generator inflicted those burns?
She's demanding proof.
The generator must be involved. It's near where Wolfgang is lying.
Being within range of something counts as proof now, does it? Do you also consider happenstance as conclusive evidence? Funny how the standards shift, if so.
Oh!
That?
Damn it, she's trying to make me look like an idiot. If I let this continue, the others might start to doubt me. I need to stop her before she veers the trial off track. Oh yay. And you thought you were the only one with an interjection animation? Think again, bitch. Sometimes a student will dislike your argument so much they will initiate a one-on-one debate with you. We call this rebuttal showdown. During rebuttal showdown, your opponent will fling a flurry of arguments at you and it's your job to counter them. Use the WASD keys to slice through your opponent's argument. Naturally, you will snatch in the direction of the button pressed. To slice diagonally, simply press 2 keys at the same time. Be sure to pay close attention to the shape, size, and position of your opponent's remarks, as these will clue you into what direction you should slice. Every time you strike white text, the green side of the screen will shift left to represent your argument succeeding. Likewise, every time you miss white text, the orange side of the screen will shift right to show that your opponent is winning. If you cut through enough remarks, you will advance to the next stage. If you haven't, you'll retreat. If you're somewhere in the middle, you and your opponent will wrestle for control in a short round of cross swords. In order to gain the upper hand, you must rapidly left-click. Now, to the means of the duel, Truth Blades. Similar to non-stop debates, any suspected contradictions will be highlighted in gold. Hold down right-click to slice them apart with a Truth Blade. Of course, don't start slicing the second you see gold. Assess the validity of the remark and check that you have the correct Truth Blade equipped. Now, let's not keep Winona waiting any longer. To battle! The battle showdown. Here we go.
While the generator may look suspicious,
DJ pad clock.
consider the time frame we're working with.
Oh right, I gotta
If the only
destroy
time you
these.
saw the generator in full working condition was on the day of our kidnapping, that gives us a period of almost 4 days, in which the generator might have been destroyed.
Oh yeah, time to battle. Yeah, got her.
What about the blackout? It's impossible for the generator to cause the blackout if it was already broken prior to the tournament.
What about the blackout? The building may very well have lost its power at any point before or after.
I'll cut through those words!
What? You couldn't even let me finish speaking? What the hell was wrong with you? I'll cut through your words!
What happened? It froze a piece of equipment which had been set up for the game tournament, Mark's DJ pad. While there was no physical clock inside the dining hall, a digital one has been built into Mark's pad. If you look at what time the digital clock is frozen on, it matches the time of death listed on the tablet, 9:35 a.m.
Well, Mark, is this true?
There's no point in me saying anything when someone else has already said it better.
Just answer with a yes or no, will you?
Yes.
In any case, the matching times are too much of a coincidence. The destruction of the generator caused the blackout, and the blackout occurred at the time of
Well,
the
they were
murder.
right next to each other.
There's no way the
At least they
destruction
couldn't
of the
get anyone in the
generator wasn't
crossfire.
tied to Wolfgang's death.
What do you suppose happened then?
I'm willing to bet the generator's destruction resulted in the boiler room's water becoming electrified.
Your argument is stupid! It's time to duel!
Since Wolfgang was discovered kneeling in the water, we can reason he was standing in it at the time this happened, and...
Damon, you and I both know that's not true.
Huh?
Did you forget? It's impossible for the water in the boiler room to play a role in Wolfgang's murder, because it isn't even conductive. It's not? After Damon and I woke up in the boiler room, I wanted to investigate the flooded area. So, I tested the water.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ava approach the pile of boxes and fish out a light bulb. The light bulb started kissing the nearest paintbrush for some reason, I don't know why. Then without hesitation, plop, she chucked it into the water.
I even redid my test during the investigation, since Damon wasn't sure if he should touch Wolfgang's wet clothes. In both instances, I proved the water was safe to enter. To be honest, neither result really surprised me. Water will only act as a conductor if it makes contact with two separate energy sources. The boiler room generator is just one source.
If you're standing in the water, one outlet should be enough.
I've successfully refuted you, and I didn't even need a sword to do it. Meanwhile, Winona's over there like, huh, how does she do it?
Speaking from experience, large bodies of water are terrifying conductors during storms. All it takes is one lightning bolt, and the surrounding miles are scorched.
But the generator is a slow, persistent source of electricity. It's not the same as a lightning strike.
Electricity is electricity. Doesn't matter how it manifests. The reason you two avoided electrocution is because the generator's exposed wires aren't even touching the water.
We've got an expert here.
You would have been scorched right from the start.
Maybe when the generator was destroyed, some of the wiring fell into the water?
Nah. Even in its current sorry state, the generator's wires are nowhere near the water.
It doesn't make sense for the generator to pose a danger anyway. The point of the killing game is for the students to kill each other, not for the facility to kill the students. A feature of the building killing a student would be a meaningless death because you can't attribute a student killer to it.
As for why the generator's been charred, sometimes electrical faults happen. Even my ship's engines have broken under particularly relentless storms. And if an electrical fault caused Wolfgang's death, then his murder is purely on the hosts, ain't it?
Of course. If we were responsible for his death, you lot wouldn't be here discussing it.
That's, Is the generator really unrelated to the case? But the timing of the blackout, it's too perfect. It can't be a coincidence.
Okay. Since we've ruled out the generator, what else could have electrocuted Wolfgang?
Hey, Bear. Hello. Another cat has come up on my bed, and now he's immediately left.
A toy gun or something. At least, that's how it came across to me.
The second electricity source.
Not a toy gun, a taser gun.
A taser? I'll shoot electricity!
I'm not sure how the taser fits in with this case, though. It doesn't seem to have been used.
Nope. The taser was definitely used.
How so? I didn't catch any sort of string protruding from it.
Not all taser guns release a string when fired. Some are completely wireless. For those types, you can tell they've been used if their blast doors are missing. Side note, blast doors are plastic panels which cover the muzzle of a taser. If a shot is fired, they pop clean off. When I was investigating the crime scene, I found the taser gun in one spot and its blast doors in another. Speaks for itself, yeah?
And here I was thinking the yellow bits were just random trash.
Where the heck did a taser gun even come from? Last time I
So wait,
checked,
she noticed
there
that
weren't any lying around in the storage closets.
Cassidy noticed the little blast doors on the floor, but didn't notice the taser itself?
Maybe it belongs to someone here.
Huh?
Just think about it for 1 second. Everyone here has a dorm room which is themed around their talent. Mine's got DJ equipment, Jet's got car batteries. If that's what we have with our talents, what could someone with a dangerous talent have?
Are you talking about, like, knives and stuff? What? Is there something on my face?
Forget this. The person I'm talking about is Desmond.
Huh? No way! You think the gun is Desmond's?
Yeah.
Hang on. You've got it all mixed up.
Jean, do you know anything about this? As Desmond's roommate, perhaps you spotted something inside his dorm.
No, I only found a harmless shotgun.
Alas, we stayed in my abode. I couldn't tell you if he had weapons.
I can only tell you about the AK-47, the twin pistols, the compound bow, the javelin, even the wooden slingshot, and the blowpipe. But you know, those have nothing to do with anything. Meanwhile, everyone's like, what the fuck?
Talk about suspicious.
I dropped something, my bad.
Did Desmond agree to bunk in Jean's dorm so Jean wouldn't see the weapons in his?
Listen, I get where you guys are coming from, but that taser gun, it's not mine. I've never seen anything like it.
No, that's a lie.
A lie?
His attempt to feign innocence won't fool me. Not when I know the truth.
I got it.
Blackmail.
The blackmail tools you gave us. That's my evidence.
You didn't get mine, did you?
No. But the person who did informed me of what it said.
With his weapons at hand, Desmond guards the only one he trusts.
The writing style seems to match. I think it's legit.
Where the frick did he get it from? I thought Ava had it.
That's more than a little suspicious, don't you think? Leaving a bunch of weapons unguarded during a killing game?
Don't judge me. This is the first time I'm hearing of it too.
You didn't know there were weapons in your room?
Yep, no idea.
Our rooms aren't particularly subtle in their theming. Are we supposed to believe yours is any different?
It is themed. I'm not denying that. but I sure as hell didn't catch sight of any weapons. If I did, do you seriously think I'd leave them unguarded and risk being found out?
Yeah. Desmond cares too much about everyone. He pointed out the broken doorknobs and gave us the idea to bunk together. Why would he hide weapons in his room?
By the way, it's totally possible that Diana did it.
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside. There's no other way to explain it.
So while Desmond gets a bunch of guns, all I get is an old game console and a dead controller.
Take the bad with the good, dearest people. No one fears game consoles. Well, no one besides parents and the religiously inclined.
Enough talking about consoles. Why are you guys believing Desmond so easily? If the taser gun belongs to him, then he's the killer. Any argument he makes against it,
Anyone could have used it.
a flimsy excuse.
Anyone could have taken it from his room and found it. Sorry, Grace, but you're wrong. Wrong.
Desmond is the killer. The taser gun came from his room.
I had no idea the gun even existed. I was barely in my dorm to begin with.
Because you wanted to draw attention away from your weapons hoard.
Can we get a pathos statement here?
If this is about avoiding suspicion, why did Desmond say the taser gun was fired? I don't think a killer would draw attention to their own murder weapon.
I was with Desmond.
I call it reverse psychology. You sprinkle in a little helpfulness, and suddenly everyone trusts you.
When the murder happened,
Is Desmond innocent? When I compare the evidence to everyone's statements.
Desmond is the killer.
Desmond is the killer! It came from his room! I know you only said that I was better in my dorm to begin with, because you only draw attention away from your weapons forward. But is this about avoiding suspicion? Why is it sensitive to fight? I don't even want to take your weapons. Oh my god, hit it!
I got it.
I got it.
Regardless of whether or not Desmond knew about the gun, he definitely wasn't involved in the murder. Eloise can back me up on this.
right. Desmond and I, we were together in the courtyard at the time of Wolfgang's death.
Hold on a minute, I'm gonna pee. Hey guys, I'm back. Wouldn't it be funny if I didn't edit any of that out?
I see. Then both of you can be ruled out as suspects.
Don't just take her word for it. She could be covering for Desmond.
Jeez, if you have a bone to pick with these guys, at least save it for when we're not solving a murder.
Yeah. Why don't you want to believe Eloise?
Ever since the investigation, these two yuppies have been on my case non-stop. They're obviously working together.
Not gonna lie, I see where Grace is coming from. When Eloise tried to single her out earlier, Desmond was pretty quick to jump in and agree.
Even so.
But only one person can be the blackened.
Since the topic has been brought up, I would like to mention something. During my trip to the pharmacy, I believe I saw Desmond and Eloise in the courtyard together.
You also said you were back in the hallways around 8-10 a.m., didn't you? That means those two were wandering around unsupervised. Either one of them could have left the courtyard.
If Desmond was the killer, what would Eloise gain from defending him? Should the wrong vote be cast, nothing about the rules suggests an accomplice of the killer would be exempt from execution.
That's right. And even if she was exempt, Eloise is too nice to be an accomplice to murder.
That's not evidence.
Grace.
Just like I'm too nice to be the murderer as well, right guys?
To keep steering everyone down a dead end. Let's move on.
A person who's always steering others down a dead end, huh? I guess they needed a GPS. Anyway, we should totally thank Desmond for clearing things up now. Not only do we know he's not the killer, now we know how the killer got their hands on the taser.
Now we know how... What?
Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent, and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Yup.
That's a great impression.
Word for word what Desmond said.
Right. Good memory.
I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that.
Can you repeat that quote, Cassidy?
Again. But I just said it.
And also, can you do it in a more accurate impression of me? Thanks.
Yeah, but I want you to say it again.
Alright. Someone must have gotten the idea to rifle through my dorm because of my talent and found the taser gun hidden inside.
Wow, that was even worse.
Is there something on your mind?
If Desmond's testimony is anything to go by, then wouldn't this mean the culprit has to be male?
What?
If I remember correctly, all the guys were aware of each other's pairings. With that sort of knowledge, a male student could try and infiltrate another male student's dorm.
None of us knew which room we'd be bunking in.
It only takes a quick peek to check if someone's inside or not. Anyone could have done that.
And who's to say the thief didn't barge in before we started bunking?
Or while people were having breakfast.
Seems there was a mountain of opportunities for our culprit to sneak in unnoticed. Doesn't exactly help us narrow things down, does it?
And now you've been refuted, Ava. Doesn't feel so good now, does it?
Well, guess this taser gun was a bust.
Look on the bright side. If it's been fired, then it's probably what electrocuted Wolfie.
Wow, that's great news, Ingrid.
If trying to suss out who stole it isn't feasible, why don't we talk about Wolfie's other injuries instead?
Would a taser really be enough to kill someone, though?
You know,
And
the
cause
ones
those
that
marks on the
weren't burn
hands?
marks? Those seem like they could lead us somewhere.
Yeah. Besides the burns on his hands, Wolfgang also had a bruise and a tiny red dot on the back of his neck.
A bruise and a tiny dot, huh? Wanna try tackling them in alphabetical order?
Alphabetical order? Now, aren't you full of smart ideas?
What?
No need to thank me. It's only common sense.
Thank you, Cassidy. We love you.
Okay.
We
let's
love you,
discuss the
Cassidy,
bruise
for
first.
doing this thing. No, wait. Okay, I think it's gonna be
think it's
Steve
safe to
Rolling
say.
Pin.
The killer didn't use a flamethrower.
No, that's wrong.
Maybe Wolfgang got into a fight?
Huh.
That's true. Wolfgang probably got into a fight with the killer.
Wouldn't there be other bruises to show for it? Don't see why he'd only sustain a bruise to the neck.
He's right, there is enough evidence to prove a genuine fight took place. Oh, damn it.
It's safe to say.
No, that's wrong. Okay, no more fast
Someone might
forward.
have attacked him.
Oh no, that wasn't blue.
I don't think that discounts any.
Oh, dang it, that wasn't
think it's safe to
blue.
say.
I
Didn't use a
I saw
flamethrower.
something I agree with, and I say I agree with that, but it was it was
Maybe Wolfgang
orange.
got into a fight?
It was orange. So
Someone might have attacked him.
it was one I
aimed
contradict,
for
and I
his
didn't want
neck.
to contradict that.
If you can even reach that high.
Either way, something must have hit.
Yeah.
I got it.
Whoa, you really can censor me, Damon? I didn't think we'd get this far, but if you're ready for it, I'm ready.
Something did hit Wolfgang.
Really? Man. And I was only blurting out the first thing which came to mind. Anyway, from how you're wording things, do you know what that something is?
A rolling pin.
Eh?
Wolfgang was hit with a rolling pin.
How on earth did you reach that conclusion?
That argument pisses me off so much, I'm nearly gonna draw out my sword again.
Ava and I found this pin inside storage closet A, which is just a few feet from the crime scene. Coincidentally, the pin also has a dent.
You sure that's enough to say it's involved? Could just be a flimsy pin.
No. There's something
looks
else which
metal.
solidifies this pin's role in the murder.
It looks like it's made of metal. How could you cause a dent in a rolling pin by hitting it against someone's neck unless that person was a bodybuilder?
Handprints. 2 of them on the edge of the pin.
So the killer used a rolling pin to attack Wolfgang?
It certainly explains the bruising on his neck.
They must have wanted him to be unconscious so he wouldn't fight back.
Exactly. It would be easier to drag him into the water if he's not awake.
But where do the bloodstains come from?
You reckon the killer purposely put Wolfie in the water?
Damn! With one electrified blow, Wolfgang is zapped to bits with the taser! Since he's lying in the water, he's definitely a goner.
Considering the logical ethos of the killer's rectitude, especially when governed under constricting pressure, leaving him catatonic would be the most facile solution.
Of course.
Guess it makes sense.
Of course, it's so obvious. Thank you, Toshiko. I didn't read any of that. I didn't read any of that. Footsteps. Where were the footsteps? Where are the footsteps again? Oh, okay, that.
And then chuck the pin into closet A?
When exactly did they discard the pin?
They couldn't have done it when Eva and I were already downstairs. Because the two of us went inside closet A.
Why were you inside the closet?
To find the backup generator, remember?
Yeah, but we also kissed, but that's not related.
Damon and Kai checked closet C. Eva and Grace checked closet A.
We don't need to recap this. We don't need to recap this.
The killer just discarded the pin before we came downstairs.
Yeah, I think Mark's right. 'Cause the killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately after discarding the pin.
Just because the killer placed the pin earlier doesn't mean they left before we arrived.
So let me get this straight.
I think the footsteps are a red herring, actually. I think Third Spotless discovered the body and they're not telling. Oh, this is way more fun. Okay, I'm done with that. Why would I want to contradict any of those? They're correct. Oh.
Leave me out of this. It's not.
Well, why say anything in the first place? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
When exactly
oh my
did they
god. It takes so long to get there. Oh my god. I don't care who checked the closets. I don't care. I don't care. Move on. Move on. Move on.
Before we came downstairs. Yeah, I think Mark's right.
It is made of metal. It's
the
steel.
Killer could run upstairs and go back to their room immediately after discarding the pin.
No, that's wrong.
Okay, apparently that was it. That was just a guess.
Diana, there's proof the killer fled the underground hallway at a later time, when the tournament attendees were looking for a backup generator. Kai and I heard someone run past our room.
Huh?
They were really zooming.
That's right. We were just exploring the closet when all of a sudden we heard footsteps in the hallway.
And those footsteps were really fast. Yes, and there's only one person who's known for being fast. Jet Dawson, the ultimate drag racer. You're the killer. What? So now you figured it out.
That's when Damon decided he was gonna follow where the footsteps came from and entered the boiler room.
Did anyone else hear these footsteps?
Nope. Not ringing any bells.
Yeah, Jet and me didn't really hear it over all our talking.
I heard the footsteps.
You mean Jet and I, Cassidy? It's Jet and I?
Huh? You did? Well, I initially thought it was my imagination, so I never said anything.
Ashamed to say I also brushed off the footsteps. Thought I was hearing things. However, since other people can attest to hearing them...
Then someone else was on the underground floor with us.
Before anyone tries to bring it up, none of the tournament attendees could have been the person running, since everyone explored the closets in pairs. They all have solid alibis.
I'm sure we can all vouch for that, aye?
Everyone was still in their closets after Damon and I found Wolfgang. So...
Considering the footsteps were moving away from the crime scene, I think it's safe to say they belong to the killer.
Wouldn't that mean the killer fled while you guys were exploring the rooms?
Hold up! So the killer had been right next to us?
Boy, that's a given.
Huh? How are you so calm after hearing that? The only thing which stood between us and a murderer was a door. What if they attacked us?
Oh no, I am really panicking. I'm just really chill at hiding it.
Well, they did it, so I don't see what the problem is.
Jeez, you're weird.
No, you're weird.
Why not run away earlier, though? Fleeing while everyone is searching seems really risky.
Maybe it was a miscalculation?
It's not impossible, I guess.
If not that, then maybe the killer returned to the boiler room after discarding the pin?
Sounds pretty meat-headed if you ask me.
Yes, you'd think a killer would use that moment to run away.
I don't think it was the killer.
Or the two who heard the footsteps? Describe the sound.
It was kinda... socky. As in, it sounded pretty soft. Like the person had taken off their shoes.
Saki, huh? Seems this killer was purposefully trying to keep quiet.
Because their footsteps were soft?
That seems like a leap in logic.
No, I get what she's saying. Everyone here has socks on, I'm pretty sure. So any one of us could have run down the hallway.
I think Toshiko was wearing sandals.
The thing with shoes is, not everyone here has the same kind. If the killer had worn theirs, we might have been able to figure out their footwear from the sound it made on the floor. Then we just have to single out the person with that footwear. Man, it would have been so easy to find the killer.
We already can find the killer, though.
What?
Oi, are you pulling our leg?
My leg's really sensitive, so I prefer if you didn't.
I'm completely serious.
Look, this is my serious face. It's the face I make when I'm being serious.
Picture a map of the building complex in your head. The building with the dorms is on the left, the courtyard is in the middle, and the building with the tree is on the right. Now, try and pin everyone's locations during Wolfgang's murder. Once you do that, the identity of the killer will definitely become clear.
Is the killer someone whose position we can't place?
No, it's not about position.
Eh?
Wolfgang's killer can easily lie about their location during the murder. The only thing distinguishing their testimony from everyone else's is that theirs can't be corroborated.
In which case, our killer. Yes, that's right. The only one here who can possibly be the killer is you. Is you.
It has to be you!
Diana, it's you, isn't it?
Huh? The makeup girl?
She's the only one here without an alibi. Those of us who attended the tournament can obviously be ruled out.
Nah, this is a
For
red
those who
herring.
didn't,
She discovered the body sooner.
Desmond and Eloise were in the courtyard. Toshiko and Ingrid were in the same dorm room.
What about Winona? She never mentioned an alibi.
Give me a break.
Winona and I were in the building with the tree all morning. In fact, yes, Desmond and Eloise should have witnessed us walking over there, as those two were in the courtyard at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, Diana really is the only one without an alibi.
Can you imagine if the way we found the killer was process of elimination? That's so stupid.
Guys.
That's so stupid. It's not Diana.
If she's the person who fled the boiler room, those footsteps we heard make a lot more sense. Heels make a pretty loud clop sound on hard floors, and the underground hallway's floor is pretty hard. Diana would obviously want to take them off.
Oh, that's pretty incriminating.
Also, heels aren't comfy to run in.
Whoa. I didn't even think of it like that. You're totally right, though. Since Diana's the only one here with heels, she would have to take them off.
Guys, what are you talking about? Me? A killer? Do you really think I could be a killer?
The fact you weren't at the tournament is incriminating enough.
Not just that. Everyone but you has an alibi.
But I do have an alibi, right, Ava?
Huh?
You woke up with me this morning, and you never saw me leave my dorm.
During the brief amount of time we were together, I never saw you leave. What you did after I left for the game tournament, however, is anyone's guess.
Ava wanted to help me and Cass set up the tournament, so we told her to swing by early.
For that reason, I left Diana's dorm at 8:05 a.m. I know the exact time since her room has a clock. I probably entered the dining hall around 8:10 a.m.-ish.
So much for an alibi, then.
Ooh.
Diana, don't tell me.
Holy smokes, it's all falling into place!
Are we sure there hasn't been some sort of misunderstanding?
It's not possible. Diana can't be the killer. No! I refuse to believe it!
Looks like some people here aren't willing to face the facts. That's not a problem. I'll make them face the facts. Whether they like it or not, soon enough, nobody will be able to deny Diana killed Wolfgang. She really put the die in Diana, didn't she?
If it was Diana inside that boiler room, could she be the one who left the blood trail? Because if so, that might be her blood on the knife, too.
Diana's blood? Are you saying she wounded herself?
Wounded herself? What makes you think that?
I don't know! Why else would the killer's blood be on their own weapon?
Did we not already agree? The killer was wielding a rolling pin?
Well, maybe they had both.
No,
The
Wolfgang
rolling
had
pin
it.
in one hand, and the knife in the other.
Dual wield?
No, 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 no. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Two very clear handprints. That's not true, Tosco. That's not true. You've made an untrue statement, you tiny woman. You are not a real professional. You are not a real professional because you made an untrue statement. Actually, you're wrong.
Well, maybe they had both.
Here it is.
The rolling pin and...
Oh my god. There.
No, that's wrong.
That's fucking wrong.
No. The killer was only wielding the rolling pin during their confrontation with Wolfgang. You can tell just from looking at the pin. There are two handprints wrapped around the edge, as if the killer had been holding the pin like a tennis racket. Which makes sense, because you can swing with more force if you use both hands. And that's what a killer wants when trying to knock out a grown man.
Then, who held the knife?
It wasn't the killer, so it was most likely the only other person in the boiler room. Wolfgang Akire.
Whoa.
What the hell are you talking about? Wolfgang, carrying a dangerous weapon? Bullshit!
If you were in his situation, wouldn't you? Wolfgang received an anonymous message asking him to meet in a basement, all whilst in the middle of a killing game. At that point, doesn't matter how much of an optimist he is. He'd know better than to come unarmed.
A knife isn't super hard to find, either. Wolfgang probably just stole one from the kitchen.
Besides, If Diana's the one who got
Is
stabbed,
Winona
it
thinking
would explain the
something?
blood trail. Think about it. She arms herself with the rolling pin and attacks Wolfgang, getting hurt by him in the process. For some reason, possibly because of the blackout, she doesn't clean the blood trail she's leaving, and returns to her dorm room after.
No! That's wrong!
Huh?
I wasn't stabbed. If I was stabbed, then I'd have an injury. But there's nothing, right? There's nothing on me.
Depends. If a vein got nipped, you'd be seeing blood no matter the size of the cut. Of course, that also means a small cut will need bandaging, which I'm not seeing on you.
You may not see any injuries on Diana, but that doesn't mean they aren't there.
Makeup.
If she wanted, she could simply hide her injuries from view. After all, someone like her has exactly what it takes.
Oh my god, Pixie is going to be absolutely devastated. Diana's cowardice.
I got it. Her talent. As the ultimate cosmetologist, Diana could easily cover her wounds.
It makes sense. With the right equipment, she could probably disguise even a bandaged wound.
As Diana's bunking partner, I've seen firsthand how many different cosmetics are inside her room. So unfortunately, I have to agree.
Well, Diana, did I get anything wrong?
No. No. But
God, can you imagine if Pixie was here for this instead of me? That would be amazing.
Wait.
We should be getting her reaction.
Diana, did you just say no? As in, no, you're not wrong that I covered up my wounds? Oh crap. You guys know what this means, right guys? Diana is...
There's still too many loose ends, though.
Diana
basically just confessed!
Yeah.
A confession? Are you for real?
Oh.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it?
That's a
Diana
third party.
got wounded, which proves she got in a fight with Wolfgang.
This doesn't explain the
Which
shrapnel.
means all that stuff about Wolfgang going to the boiler room. All that stuff really did happen.
It doesn't explain the extension cord.
I see. I see now what you were saying. Diana.
It doesn't fit.
She lured Wolfgang to the boiler room by writing him that note. And when he arrived, she attacked him and killed him. And now, she's been lying this entire trial, hoping we would never suspect her. How cruel!
Diana, It wasn't me. I promise, it wasn't me.
To think she could preach about friendship after committing a violent crime.
And then try and sentence the rest of us to punishment.
Golly, you're right. If we voted for the wrong person, we would have been executed.
That's so fucked!
We're about to vote for the wrong person.
Diana? What the hell is your damage?
Can we at least hear Diana's side of the story?
Her side?
Well, you know, Diana has, I just think it's fair we listen.
What does it matter what she says? Look at the evidence. This case, it's closed. We know who the killer is. If you really want to ask for Diana's side of the story, then do it after the vote.
No.
Vote. That's right, we have to vote for the killer. Diana, I've proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she's the killer. I've proven it beyond a reasonable doubt, so...
No.
Why is it that when I hear her cry, I get this strange nagging feeling in my chest? Why does a tiny part of me want to believe the things she's saying? Why, all of a sudden, do I doubt myself? Is it time for pathos? Is it time for pathos? Shall we do this?
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Wait, how do I do this again? Hold Q. Wait. E to absorb empathy.
The rest of us would never learn the truth.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
That's not it.
But I would never murder Wolfgang.
If you don't have an alibi, then you obviously did.
But I wanted to believe so badly that you were innocent. Why didn't I see you for who you were?
If this goes on any longer, I'm gonna be
okay,
sick.
so this is the one.
What are we waiting for then?
That's the button
Let's
to slow
get this
down.
over with and vote.
Oh. Can't be possible. Not on this.
Diana was the one who lured Wolfgang to the boiler room. Once he got there, she killed him immediately.
Then she fled the crime scene, hoping the rest of us.
She's always been so nice.
How could you, Diana? Poor Wolfie was only trying to keep us together.
But I would never.
No, that's wrong.
That wasn't a counter, that was an agree. That was a consent.
We know that Diana got stabbed during her confrontation with Wolfgang. But that doesn't prove she's the culprit.
Wait. Huh?
If anything, what it should mean is that Diana was trying to get away from him as fast as possible.
Do you hear yourself right now?
He's lost his mind.
The stab wounds prove that Diana was in the same room as Wolfgang before his death. She's the killer.
I'm not. I'm not the killer.
Diana. Damn it, what's come over me? I'm getting all mushy and making a fool of myself in front of everyone.
Sheesh, Damon. How are you going to say all this dramatic stuff about Diana being the killer, and then say the opposite 5 minutes later?
I'm making a fool of myself. I'm making a fool of myself, and yet, when I think back on everything she's done, just because they have different opinions doesn't mean they're bad people. They clearly want the same thing as the rest of us, right? They want to go home. So, I think it's okay to give them a chance. Yeah, that's right. We can make it through this. I wish I could speak as well as you, Wolfgang. I realize everyone's been acting tense around you and Eva, so I wanted to say hi and check that you're okay. Well, in any case, if you ever need someone to talk to, just come find me, alright? Diana was always thinking of me when no one else was. She knew how frustrated I felt about everything, about Wolfgang. Of course, she tried to play it off as some kind of casual interaction between friends, but she tried to help me without making it seem like I was someone who needed help. Could someone like her really have what it takes to commit a murder? It doesn't make sense. Thinking Diana could kill another person. It doesn't make any logical sense.
Whatever. Who cares what this guy says? We finally know the killer. Let's cast our votes already.
I guess, if that's what everyone else is doing.
Remember, if you don't vote, you die. So none of you naysayers better get any smart...
Hey, Tozu.
Ideas?
Are you listening, Tozu? I need to ask a question.
Dude, what are you...
I even have these sprites made specifically for calling out to you.
Hello, it is I, Tozu, answerer of questions. You ask a question, I give an answer. 'Tis common sense it is.
Answerer of questions. I thought you were a host.
I'm a host with an ascendant in question answering. A jack of all trades, if you will.
Anyway, Tozu, according to the regulations, Everyone has to vote when a trial is over. My question is, when exactly can a trial be considered over?
Are we talking in a literal or philosophical sense?
I mean, does the trial end and the voting begin once we think we've solved the mystery? Or does the vote automatically start after a certain amount of time?
I see. All right, I'll humor your question. If you ask nicely.
What?
Go on. Ask the question again.
Damn it. I failed etiquette in high school.
Well, are you still gonna do it?
Tozu, can I please know the factors that decide whether a trial could be considered over?
Well, since you're so polite, I'd be a fool not to tell you. The truth is, the class trial will only end once I become bored with it.
You're joking.
What? Why didn't you say this sooner?
Come now, it's not like I wouldn't announce a warning in advance. Tick tock, that's the sound of my internal clock losing patience. Let's start wrapping things up, shall we? I think we're long overdue for a vote. See? Smart, snappy, and to the point.
Sounds terrible! What if you're still not bored, even when we think we've solved the case?
If that happened and all of you agreed to vote, what reason is there for me to say no?
So in that case, everyone must unanimously agree to vote before voting can be held.
Indeedy.
All right. Then, since you haven't made any kind of warning, I take it you're not bored with the trial yet.
Not yet.
In that case, I don't agree to vote.
What? No way! Are you seriously pushing back the vote?
Not until I know who the real killer is.
It's obviously Diana. She's the only one without an alibi for the murder.
Diana may not have an alibi, but even so, saying she's a murderer contradicts everything we know about her.
Since when?
Diana looked up to Wolfgang, and Wolfgang cared about her. But from the moment suspicion fell on Diana, she's been nothing but a nervous wreck. Does that really sound like someone with the emotional capacity to murder?
What's to say she's not faking it?
Even if she was, it'd be rash to commence a vote without hearing both sides of the story first.
You do make a good point.
We are not in a rush. I say we hear Diana out.
Yeah. I don't feel comfortable voting yet, until Diana shares her testimony.
Yay.
Sure thing. I'm up for listening.
But...
Diana, I promise to keep an open mind if you tell me what happened, even if it's stressful to relive. Until we have conclusive evidence to say otherwise, I'll hear you out.
And that's where I'm going to end the recording. Diana is innocent. But who else could have done it? It's someone who doesn't have an alibi for 8:15. And that could be so many people. But I think Pixie's previous guess is correct. It can still be Mark. Who could have done it remotely with the electronics. Using the taser as a red herring. Something happened between Wolfgang and Diana and we won't know what. But we'll get to it next time. Bye!